Yep.
Hello everyone.
Hello. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for joining us again. Welcome to this episode 8. Hopefully you enjoyed the intro. It's a bit different tonight.
Yeah, it's a bit special today.
Very special day today. So all of us at Hearns, we've been working on this project for quite some time, and we've been dreaming about this project for, I don't know, for me probably 5 years. And finally today we have it, Hearns Workshop.
Yep, there's been a lot of planning, a lot of learning.
Absolutely. Lots of long nights from everyone at Hearns. We've been studying and learning, and finally we are live today. So we've got quite a few people. So Tony, Noelle, hi, Captain Esman, Warwick. Warwick knows all about this already by the look of it.
Yep.
So, where do we start, Beach? What do you know?
What do we know? Okay, well, what is Hearns Workshop? Okay, so Hearns Workshop is the new manufacturing division of Hearns Hobbies. So it's really exciting to get into manufacturing again. And we're manufacturing from our base in Melbourne. So everything is going to be made in Melbourne, made in Australia, which is really exciting, and we're very proud of bringing manufacturing, being able to make things in our hometown and home country. And we've got a few things that we've already got planned, and I guess we'll start introducing those bits and pieces and explaining what it's all about.
Absolutely. So it was for us very much an evolution of the hobby. So this had to happen, and with a recent change in restrictions and all these, we decided it was time to start producing things in-house. And these are the first few products that we will be presenting tonight, and there will be a lot more coming for the next weeks and months and perhaps years. So we've got a lot planned. So these are going to be specially made, designed mostly by us. Warwick has designed quite a few of those. For those who know Warwick, he is the mind behind many of these designs. And so where should we start, BJ? Should we start with the diorama range?
Yes, why not? I think there's got a huge range of appeal.
Absolutely. So we are starting with 4 different series. The first one is going to be a diorama series. So what do you have one there, BJ?
I do have one here. So
that's
got a set right there.
That's a set. So this will include four drums. So this is a World War II German diorama set. It will include 4 drums, few shells. Some are full, some are used, and a few jerry cans.
Yep. So a few jerry cans sort of mixed in around here. So the quality is impeccable. They're really smooth. You'll see the, you may not see so well here, but you'll see the writing detail. They're quite unique in that there's different finishes on the drums. So there's smashed up ones here, all bent, and then there's clean looking ones. And then of course you've got the, these are 88mm shells, which are used in the Tiger II tank, the Elephant, and a few other later war tanks, empty shells as well. So it's a nice mix of common elements that you find in any World War II German scene. And because of their uniqueness, it's very easy to use these. Okay, so that's the first lot of diorama product that we're going to produce.
So there will be different versions coming out of this with different accessories. So these are the first 2 for World War II German. And then we have a more generic one as well, which is this one here. And this one includes a few, a pallet, a few bottles, a couple of crates, and some sandbag or perhaps even rubbish bags as you prefer. So few different options here, as you can see. Quite nice detailed, and even here we'll have a few more variation of similar unit coming.
Yep.
Just to show you when it's all finished up, see if you can see this, very tiny. I'm going to use tweezers here.
It's very cute.
So this is actually all working. So that's your bottle here. That's really tiny and actually puts in perfectly in here. So if I go on the side camera again, let me see if you can see better here. So these are the bottles, and as you see, you can, off camera, you can pick them up and put them in place, and they're all individual. It's be quite nice, and obviously the bottles you can break them up and detail them as you wish.
Yeah.
So the diorama series will develop further with all heap of different things coming up. If you have any suggestion, as always, very welcome. So let us know what you would like to see.
Yep, definitely.
Moving to probably one of the most exciting one, the detailing range series. This was probably one of the first ideas Warwick had when we start talking about this. BJ, you're probably the best person to explain what is this all for.
Okay, so these are all finer details for these are the fastening series. Is that right, Nic?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so I've got a little bit of a sample that I've been playing with. So Nic's got a set there of hose connectors. So they're in different sizes, so you can use them for different scales, and also for just different physical size for a particular model. So you've got curved ones and straight ones. And you can see how clean all the detail is, so you can actually slide those over tubes and such. So there's a little bit of support on the bottom. They've got hex ends, variety of designs in the one set. So if you're doing some added detailing, scratch building, or anything like adding pneumatic connectors, these are perfect. The great thing about them is they're very easy to remove from the base and use within the model with very, very little cleanup.
Then we have these are, I think, got some rivets and also some bolts.
Yes.
Very fine, very detailed. You actually probably need some magnifying lenses to see the level of detail actually when you actually apply them to your model.
Yep. So I've got a little bit of a section here. I don't know if you're going to see this any better on my screen, but as I turn it, you might be able to see the little shadow mark in the center, because they're actually indented in the center and they've got the hex shape around them. And you'll notice that they've been made with the stalks on them. So the idea of the stalks is you just cut from the bottom of the stalk, and then you can trim it to a section close to the head. You drill a hole matching the size of the stalk on your model, and then you'll be able to glue this into place. And very easy to add some extra details to any type of model that you're building. So great for kit bashing. You need extra small details of nuts. Sci-fi, even for the side bolts of say bridges on railway, any sort of machinery or vehicles. These work really well.
That's right. So we have 7 different variation of these trays, with quite a few more in development actually. So you will find them on a link we put on the comments. You find all the different ones.
Yep.
I've got a few questions here.
Yes. Okay.
So one is asking the scale, which is a fantastic question. So scale wise, obviously this specific item here, these trays don't have a scale. They fit different purposes. But as for the diorama series, that will come in different scales, 35th scale, 72nd, so it can be scaled virtually to anything you wish. We've been testing different sizes, because when you get too small, some items may not be as detailed, so a few items need to be redesigned. However, we are planning 72nd, 35th for the diorama, 24 scale as well for those that do car and vehicles and things like that. It may go bigger again.
Yeah, so I guess it all depends on how popular particular items are going to be. And I guess with the diorama series, there's been quite a bit of feedback that the gamers would like these type of materials as well, particularly with bolt action, which is 1 to 56 scale. So that's still a possibility as well. So just let us know what you like, and we'll work into developing the products for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, Jordan is asking about 35th scale and 700 scales. We actually were discussing a few weeks back to do the little figures for ships and stuff like that. So definitely also is in development. That will come soon. So what's next? Should we go figures?
Figures, yes. Okay, so we'll show you a few other things that we've got here. So obviously we're going to do figures. We've got a lot of questions here about different subjects like animals and such. So absolutely, animals. Well, particularly if you're looking for rabbits and birds there, Steve, yeah, that's an absolute possibility.
That's a good input.
Because I think that the ranges of animals at the moment in these sort of scales is quite limited. So it's very open. So we don't have any animals at this stage, but very easy for us to work towards that. So we'll get a few animals going on, and we'll make some sets happening. Okay, so let's have a look. We've got some figures here. So we've got a few that we started with. So this is a 24 scale lady in a coat carrying her bag. So perfect for 24 scale car dioramas. And Nick's holding up quite an iconic figure there of the hooded girl taking the selfie.
Absolutely. So if you look at BJ's figure, you can see the detail around the back straps. It's phenomenal.
So this is quite amazing here. So just the strap itself has already been cast into the whole figure. So the advantage you have here is you've got less cleaning up, but you do see you've got some of these supports here. So obviously where it's cut here, it'll need to be trimmed and cleaned. And then underneath the bag, just all that needs to be cut off, and then the bag is actually hanging by a strap from the lady's hand.
The one I'm holding here, as you can see, is really shiny, and this is how it comes. So there hasn't been any finishing work done on this specific one, and it's virtually perfect. You just need to remove the supports, and it'll be minimal sanding to do. It's very tiny, little bit of preparation, and we'll be ready to go. So at the moment we have 3 different figures that we're starting with, but so we're working on some
it's the
other
third
ones.
One here.
Here we go.
Okay, so this one's another girl, which is just strolling. So very modern type of clothing. This one's I've already removed the supports, and I've already primed this one. So you might be able to just see here. I don't know, my lighting is not so great. You might be able to see there details of the face. And this is all one piece, so there's no need to do any gluing on these. It's just cutting off some supports, a bit of sanding, some priming, and then at this stage you're ready for the painting. So you might notice I've just put a rod in the bottom of the leg, which you do normally with figures, so that there's a point where you can just support it on something like this to paint without touching too much. And also that'll help it support itself within the diorama that you place it in. So there you go. So there's the 3 girls we've got so far. Obviously with figures, there's a lot of things you can do.
So we are working at some a military range as well that will come eventually in more 72nd and 35th scale, and perhaps even bigger. So there'll be more stuff coming, and probably more sci-fi figures as well. That will take a little bit longer, but we're developing some exclusive products for that too. So that's coming. I think we have a couple of questions in relation to 1/8 scale figures. For larger figures, we are actually experimenting printing figures in a few parts, and we're actually doing a few design as we speak. So that may come later on, and I guess larger figure will have to be done in few parts, perhaps legs and arms and head separated. Also because we can perhaps try to articulate them too, so have them in different poses, so you can adjust them a little bit. So quite a bit of development going on there. So what else we have here? 1/24, 1/32 aircraft accessories will be fantastic, perhaps. I guess some of these parts here could work on detailing aircraft, and I think Warwick is working on a couple of other sets that would be quite nice for larger scale aircraft. So that may be announced in the near future. Could we this figure scale to 1/18? 1/18, that would be possible. Okay. Definitely possible. Cool. So I think the last one that you have there, which with you, is probably one of the most exciting one actually, is for the sci-fi range.
So this is quite impressive because this thing here. So this again is all one piece, and you'll see that You see the fans on the inside there? So this is all cast in one piece. And this is an engine which is specifically designed so they can fit on, you probably know that we all like the Mack Machine & Krieger range of science fiction. And this is designed to complement the Falke, which is the flying, I guess, twin boom spacecraft. Now, the engine that's used in that particular model was based on a Yakult model, which you'll probably see just by looking at that. But it doesn't have this level of detail. So this is quite a intricate and very easy way of increasing the detail of that particular model. And I mean, it's even though it's designed for that particular kit, you quite easily use this for any other sort of science fiction work or what if aircraft build, I think. And that's quite impressive, just seeing that bit there, all one piece. And the level of detail on, say, some of the bolts, it's all molded within. And then you'll see here, just here, you see the voids here. So something like this that you could possibly do with resin casting. The problem would be is because it's a multi-piece resin cast, you will have mold lines within there, and this is totally mold line free. And you'll see that within these points here as well. So that's very impressive. One of my favorites. So Warwick's just given that a quick lick of paint just to give it some sort of idea of what you'll be seeing with the sort of wear mark. So obviously it's going to be in a basic grey colour when you get it, and then you just need to give it a bit of primer, and that's ready to spray. So it comes up really nice.
So this is good fun. So there will be a lot more coming in this range as well. So Warwick, this is obviously Warwick's design. So there will be, he's working on quite a few other really interesting things. So what we're talking, I have a few other ones here. This is like another World War II German kind of drum. This is exploded. So once again, printed all in one piece. Hopefully you can see reasonably well. So all been smashed up. And what else we have? Have a bench, a park bench here.
So I'm just showing off a couple of the shells. These have actually been rescaled from before. So these are 1/16 scale, perfect for those trumpeter big kits or TAMIYA big kits.
So someone was asking about 72nd and 86 scale. So we're going to have few AHL scale items as well that we'll be designing in the near future. A couple of figures, so that can be done. It will take some time because every design requires some time for design, testing, development, and make sure that everything works fine. So got quite a few different jerry cans, wheelbarrow.
Yep, so there's a wheelbarrow.
Some traffic cones here. What else we have? There is a lot actually. Well, we have something for RC car as well. The bottles, yes.
So there's slightly larger bottles with the crates.
And here I have a few detailing parts for RC cars. So these are vents for a Land Rover Defender, 1/10 scale, and this is the fuel cap where you, be hard to see, but you can cut this on your Lexan body, and this is going to add a huge level of detail actually to your RC car. So there will be application in RC as well. So again, this one is all printed or produced in one part.
Bunch of little sandbags or garbage bags, depending on what scale you want to work with them. There's a whole bunch of them. Or we can do them more individually as well.
Very good. So I guess we are going to start the quiz for tonight. I think we thought it'd be good to start giving some name to these ladies.
Yes.
So if you want to put in the comments how we should call the three ladies. So we've got the lady, the selfie
girl.
So suggest a name. Do you want the name that gets the most votes will become the name of this lady? Then we have the lady walking. This one with the bag.
So lady in a coat.
In a coat, yeah.
And then we've got the Summer Girl.
And Summer Girl. Here we go. We need 3 names. All right. Warwick has got one.
Ethel. Yeah, okay. All right, so I think we had a question before about the material.
Yes. Yes, that's very
used
important.
on these particular models. So these are made of resin. So you're probably familiar with plastic injection molded, which is your regular plastic kits. So that's where you have a mold, which is usually 2-piece at least. Might have multiple pieces in there for getting more detail. That's liquid plastic which is injected into the mold, and then that spreads all the way around the mold. The mold is released, and then you have your sprue that you know very well. Now, your disadvantage of that is it comes with quite a lot of mold lines, so they go all the way across the model, which need to be cleaned up. So you scrape them off or sand them off. Advantage is it's very cheap. So manufacturers, they make thousands of them, and that covers the cost of the very expensive mold. Next comes your resin casting, which traditionally has been hand poured. So say, for instance, they start off with something like this, and then they make a mold. So usually maybe a 2-piece mold. So got this one end, and then you pour it silicone over the top, other side, split it open, you've got a 2-piece mold. Okay, so resin casting gives a very sharp detail, but there again, because it's a multi-piece mold, it has a disadvantage of having mold lines. And quite often, resin will have the mold lines which need to be scraped off. Quite often, it can be across faces and such. There's a little bit of work involved with sanding. The other disadvantage with poured resin is often you'll have air bubbles as well. So if you've got a close air bubble to the surface, you have to drill it out, sand it, fill it, and it's a lot of work. Now, these are also a resin, but these are a UV cured resin. And with this particular technology, as it's being produced, it's actually going line by line and actually allows for undercuts. So under the hair that you see here on the fringe, then as it goes down to all of the finer details such as the straps, these are all done one segment at a time, and you'll find that it'll have some slight markings on the surface. So you might just see some little fine lines, but there's much less cleaning up involved. So this particular one would have been similar to this with the supports. It had supports all the way down the front and down the back. And they're just cleaned up with a knife, and then you sand it down smooth, and then sprayed with some primer, and that's pretty much it. So you're left with a much cleaner, crisper finish with less effort. So that's basically the material. It's a UV resin. You treat it as any other resin, so you need to be careful with dust, of course, but then also from some of the particles. So some people can feel a bit sensitive to this particular material. So if so, make sure you wear gloves or a mask. And it's the same with any other resin as well.
Yeah.
So that's the material basic explanation. The other thing I've found with this particular resin is as you work with it, it feels much more like polystyrene plastic than resin does. It doesn't feel as hard. It does have a stiffness to it, so you have to be careful with finer details because it can be brittle. But apart from that, it's very easy to work with.
It does sand actually really well as well, so it's quite easy to clean up any detail if anything. But the last few, as you can see on the one I have here, that we actually produce, we optimize the process and the model, and the finishing is actually quite good. So looking good. Yeah. We've got lots of names here.
Oh yes, we've got a lot of picking, haven't we?
I think it's going to be a long contest. We're going to be here all night to get 3 names.
Yep.
Very good. So let's see if there is any other question on this. Otherwise, we'll keep you up to date throughout the week. We'll have quite a few posts and video coming out in the next few days and showing you how to prepare these models, and all other details about new projects. Bob. Which one is Bob? Which one of the three will be Bob?
Bob haircut. I don't think any of them got a bob haircut though.
No, perhaps this is going to be in the to-do list. Cool. So we got a page on our website that puts together everything, all about Hearns Workshop. So if you jump in there, you'll see all the details. And as we go along, we'll add new products, new how-to guides, and we'll be writing a few blogs. So it gives you a bit more information. And once again, if you have ideas on what we could produce, let us know. And in the next few months, we'll have quite a few new products coming on board.
Definitely, yes. Make sure you let us know, because we'd like to hear what you want, because we've got an idea of what we think you want, but we're never quite sure.
Absolutely. So, Bob, the man with the case. That's it.
Man with the case, right?
Racing car.
Yeah, that's
driver
true. Racing car driver figurines.
That's a good one. Yeah,
they would be.
Absolutely. Good. All right, so let's get back into our usual Hearns at home. So for those that don't know, we've been streaming from home for about 8 weeks now. Is that 8 to 9? 8 weeks?
Yeah, I reckon 8.
8 weeks. And I'm streaming from my garage, and BJ's from his living room. So episode 8. So as usual, we have a car that we need to guess. Let's see if anyone can guess this car. We got Polly, Rustina, and Ukraine. There we go. So, otherwise, let's move on to something a bit different for tonight.
Yep.
So, just later tonight, we receive this. So, this is RC. This is a speed controller for RC cars. So, this is by Dash, which is a parent company of ARROWMAX. ARROWMAX is a well-known manufacturer of, originally it was mostly tools and setting up stations and other equipment for RC cars, but now they moved towards electronics as well. So they have a range of servos, speed controllers to power your car. So we're going to talk about speed controllers a little bit later on, but this is the new 1.8 speed controller that we received today. So I thought we should have a look. It's a 220 ampere speed controller, which is normally suited for either 1.8 buggies or even 1.8 GT cars. Let's see if I can open it. This could actually be good for the velodrome as well. Actually, we haven't talked about velodrome today. There's a big event coming up, hopefully in January, of speed runs in the velodrome here in Melbourne. There we go.
We practically talk about the velodrome every day, don't we?
We actually do talk about velodrome every day. And here it is.
There you go, speed controller.
It's a Dash. It's a big speed controller. It's got the capacitors here. Got a fan already installed. And it's a 220 amp speed controller. So on this side here, you're going to connect the 3 phases to your motor, and on this other side here you got the red and the black, so the different polarities that will go to your battery. So this is 220 ampere speed controller, which should produce quite a lot of power to kind of any 1.8 scale buggy, or possibly a very, very fast 1/10 as well, if you got enough space to fit it in. So this is the 110. This is not new, but just to show the comparison in size. So this is for 1/10 scale. As you can see, it's noticeably smaller.
So you can sort of understand with the different sizes how much more power is going through to power up the 1/8 scale car,
and heat,
and
as
also
well.
The size of the capacitors, which are on the larger speed controller as well.
Absolutely. So this is a ARROWMAX Dash speed controller for 1/8 and 1/10 on this side. Brand new release by ARROWMAX. This was announced just a few weeks ago, and it's already here. It'll be a good addition to their range. And BJ, you received some TAMIYA plastic kits that I can see behind you there.
I did, yep. So I've just got the campus rings. So I guess part of the talking about figures again. So this is a great new set from TAMIYA. It's a Campus Friends Set 2, because the first set was released in the 80s. Has been around for at least 10 years now. And with the popularity of making dioramas, particularly civilian dioramas with cars, then they've decided to do this set. Now, TAMIYA's upped their game by actually 3D scanning people, and they've been able to achieve much more natural clothing droop and such. So very, very modern. Okay, so you've got a modern scooter, modern type helmet, clothing, and then of course you've got the classic selfie pose here and the peace pose there with the selfie. So great kit here. They're all 1/24 scale, and they go together very, very well. So I think Tom's already been working on a set, and I've seen him already finish up with this figure, which is quite interesting. So we might share that on our Facebook within the week, just to see you, show you what they're like. So that's the Campus Friends Set 2.
Very nice, which very much falls in line to what we've been producing with other figures. So it looks like a bit of a trend to produce figures for dioramas. Dioramas is becoming more and more popular. In the past few weeks, we've been talking about the green stuff world, and we had a competition in diorama, so a huge field actually. So we also received, well, it was last week actually, but we had the comical of Avante, wasn't it?
It was, yes. So I've got it here. Well, there's just a question about the speed controller. Is it RAW approved?
Actually, sorry, I saw that one and I forgot. So yes, so the 1/10 scale is definitely RAW approved. The 1/8, I'm not sure yet because it was announced only a few weeks back. I believe it will be RAW approved, but I actually don't know that. But the 1/10 scale definitely is RAW approved. So this one here, for 1/10 scale, we've been using this a lot in the last couple of years, probably a year and a half, and definitely is RAW approved. So that will fit well on your Phantom, perhaps. I think, David, you got a Phantom, a Kyosho Phantom a couple of weeks ago, so that will fit perfectly in there.
Okay.
So the comical Avante.
So another, I guess a lot of people have already seen the comical range of the TAMIYA retro cars. So the comical range obviously is the chibi style, the squashed, baby-looking type cars. So this being quite new, the Avante, the earlier cars were two-wheel drive, and this particular one is a four-wheel drive. So it's a, what's that, GF01 chassis, which is I think it's very similar to a Wild Willy type of concept. Let me just open this up. Yeah. Okay, so I've got some tyres here. So they're the same size as a 10 scale buggy, probably midway between a front and a rear tyre in width. So I've got two sets of those. Comes with the electronic speed controller, which is very handy because this not only does the brush motor that's included, it will also take a brushless as well. And then you've got the body, which is fully painted. So already done in the metallic blue, and it's already been masked, and just have to cut that out. Got this little separating plate. Okay, so you've got a set of wheels, and you've got a common center, so there's going to be different inserts to give it a different look. So yellow rims. We've got a new style driver, so it's got a very Wild Willy appearance, oversized head, but it's all a brand new design. So you can see the face is just there. Got a few detailing headlights. So, okay, and then we get into the car itself. So actually, here's bits of the chassis. So you've got the side rails, the center part here. We've got battery harnesses and bits of the bumper. These are the flexible material. then we've got bits of the gearbox. So these parts look very TT01, and then you've got the uprights. You get some body parts, suspension arms. So these are the two-part suspension arms which are screwed through the center. They're a bit like the early touring car type shape. Got body mounts. Big bag of gears. There's an amazing number of gears because to get this four-wheel drive, there's no shafts in this. It's just fully geared all the way through. And you'll see how wide they are, so these can handle lots and lots of torque. Okay, so you've got another bumper bit there. And here we've got the actual chassis. So you've got each half, motor goes down the center, and then you've got the gears into the diffs. And that's basically the size of the car. So that's probably about 20 centimeters in wheelbase. There's the inserts for the wheels. So they're a 5-spoker. Quite nice. And then your regular bag of bits. Okay, so you got your A, B, C, D labeled screw bags to make it easy to build. Comes with some plastic bushings, which you probably want to upgrade to ball bearings, and all the rest of the screws. They still give these mega long antenna tubes. Probably don't need this much, but I guess that's a bit of tradition, to give you a long antenna tube. Then stickers here, so a really big sheet of stickers. And then you've got this side, you've got the stickers for your driver, and you've got your various eyes there to give it different expressions. So you get the real relaxed to the really angry look. And then of course you get the manual. So generic manual there for the GF01, and just like the standard sort of TAMIYA manual, they've got really good step-by-step instructions. So there you go. So that's a comical Avanti.
Indeed. So if you want to see this car running, there is a video that on our YouTube channel that we did when we went to Germany in Nuremberg from the TAMIYA stand. I think there's a few shots of this car driving and wheeling around. It's actually really good fun. Very compact, very torquey, awesome fun. So let's see if we can go back to this one meanwhile. Let's see if anyone has guessed at this car.
I think someone guessed it earlier.
I think was something just before. Let me see if you can jump back. I think there was a Porsche, McLaren.
Yep, so Derek said Porsche.
Yeah, I think Derek has got it.
Yep. But do we know which model Porsche is it?
Yeah, let's see if we can get a bit more.
Yep. I've got 917. Is it a 917?
It is a 917.
It is?
It should be a 917. Let's see if we get any more guesses up here. Here we go. Sorry, it wasn't loading for me. So let's see if we can guess which year then was this one. Okay, so should we have a talk about speed controllers?
Sure.
So
what does a speed controller do?
What does a speed controller do? Let's see if anyone can guess what a speed controller does.
It's not at all obvious.
No, very much so. And the speed controller has evolved a lot from when the first TAMIYA cars were released. They introduced the first type of speed controllers, which you, BJ, had a lot of experience. You were telling me all about it the other day.
I'm sure a lot of people out there remember the old 3-step speed controllers. 3-step forward, 1 step back, or 2 steps back. They used to reduce the speed with 2 resistors, or the single 3-point resistors out the back. And when you're running first or second speed, those resistors got very, very hot. And you'll learn very quickly, because if you touch the back, you burn that mark in your hand and it stays there for ages, just to remind you that you shouldn't be stupid and touch the hot resistor. So those were the classic 80s type speed controllers, and then they progressed onto relay type speed controllers for the electronic style. Or actually before then they had the wire wound resistors. Okay, so if you can imagine, the resistor wires wound like this, and then they had the wiper that went across. So depending which area it touched the resistor, gave you an idea of how smooth it was. So they were a bit smoother, but they still got hot. And then the relay type speed controls came out, which was electronic, a bit more efficient. And then the transistor type, a lot of the ones we use now, which is FETs, they came out and they've been with us forever now. So they started off with as a brush speed control, and as it's progressed with technology, they've become brushless, and technology of speed control has changed, so hence why you've got 3 wires to the motor now for the different phases. And there you go, they can handle hundreds of amps now, whereas the early ones probably used to handle maybe 20.
Absolutely. So and obviously speed controller nowadays, for specifically for racing, they're fully adjustable. So normally they come with a program card similar to this, which you connect to your speed controller. You can adjust quite a few parameters from the torque, the way the torque is delivered. There's some turbo, some different timing that you can completely adjust the feel of your car. So when you go on the gas, it can be instant power, it can be slightly delayed. And then you can even have a what's called turbo, actually, which is an additional timing that increases the speed and the power once again. So you can adjust when this happens after 0.1 of a second of full throttle, or in different type of scenarios. So that's really helpful when you race a different track. If you have a very large track or or smaller, helps to control your car better on infield, more technical parts and so forth. And at the same time, you can adjust the brakes as well. So the brakes are equally important. You can have drag brake. You can decide to not have drag brake at all, or you can have different type of responses on your brakes. So fully adjustable. It's fun, complex, and very, very interesting. The degree of adjustability today on this kind of little machines with the speed controllers.
It's very much like the engine control computer
for a real car.
Yeah, but it does quite a bit more. So it's amazing. So hence why you need the little programming card. It's a bit like hooking up a laptop up to a real racing car.
Yes.
Similarly, in that you hook up the little programming box to the speed control and adjust all its parameters. So it's quite it's a bit of a science, I guess, to get it right. But once you do get it right, it has so much adjustability that it really is an advantage.
Absolutely. So it's very, very important when you race, and also when you do rock crawling effectively. If you were to do rock crawling, there is a lot of adjustability that you can put into your speed controllers for low speed specifically, to prevent wheel spin, to have more torque at low speed, and also for the motor brake or the drag brake. So when you're crawling, you want your car to stay. So if you're in an incline, you're trying to adjust the position of your car. You don't want the car to roll back, or having to hold the brakes, because obviously the car will go backwards. So very important in pretty much any discipline of radio control cars, but also planes and helicopters, virtually any remote control product. So we have a questions here. I see David is asking, suggesting a video on how to tune the speed controller. I guess we could probably do one. Definitely we can put it on the list. It's going to be a bit longer. There's quite a few different aspects, and we should definitely address that.
Yep.
Very good. All right, Rob just blew up his one. Speed run, first test run. So Rob, there's different reason. Obviously, you blow up the speed controllers. Sometimes it can happen, and it's very, very unlucky. But it can be to do with gearing, perhaps, or perhaps different battery. So very important thing is these speed controllers are rated for 2-cell or 7.4, 7.6. We did the big one that was showing just before. This one here will go to 4-cell, 14.8, and some other one will go to 6-cell and 8-cell and so forth. So if you plug in 4-cell onto this one, it will last 1 second and it will poof. So reversing polarity, that's another thing. So if you reverse polarity when you plug in your battery, also is going to be a problem. So hard to tell what happened to yours, but be looking at doing a speed run often could be to do with gearing, I guess. could use in a drag car. 1.8. Yeah, this could be good for a drag car, definitely. There's different classes in drag racing. So there's a 1S, 2S class, so you use smaller stuff like this, and there's probably 4S or more. So definitely could go on a speedrun car for sure. Very good. So any question on speed controllers? Meanwhile, we go back to this one. So there's quite a few suggestions. The year is very close, but it's a bit younger than anything suggested here yet. So we've got 85, so it's a bit younger than that. A bit older, sorry, a bit older than that, sorry. And so this is I think it's a 917 CK5. I think it's the 917 became a CK5 for the Le Mans type of configuration, to the best of my knowledge. It's definitely a Le Mans, so let's see if we can guess the year of this one. In any case, this is a slot car, so this is 1/32 scale. And this is made by Fly Slot, which I believe is a Spanish company. Very nice detail car, actually, you can see here. So, 78, no, that's going too far the other direction. 1980, also still too far, we're in between. 81, well, there's not many numbers left. Let's see, so see, we can between 81 and 85. 82, not yet, almost. We're getting there. So this was Richard Clark, the driver. Let's see if that helps. Anyway, so what else do you have there, Bitch?
What have I got? I've got a sci-fi kit, actually. I thought we'll have a look at.
Yes, Con, have it right. 1983, Le Mans, 83 definitely. There you go.
Excellent.
Success. Very good.
Okay. Well, I thought I'll show the Boba Fett kit by Bandai. So it's been around for a while, but with the Mandalorian Season 2 coming, I thought this might be worth another look, because it is quite a nice kit for the way it's been engineered. So let's have a look. Now, I haven't actually seen the Mandalorian, but I did watch Empire Strikes Back, which is the first Star Wars that got me involved as a kid. And Boba Fett was one of my favorites. I used to be really jealous of all the kids that used to have one of those big Boba Fett figurines. I used to try to pinch them and play around with them until they dragged it off me. But now there's these kits. So Bandai, as per usual, they've got the multicolored sprues. So when you build these, you don't have to paint them if you don't want to. Obviously, it's going to look better if you paint it, but they look quite decent without paint. Now, these particular figures are fully posable like they're Gundams, and so they're very clever in that they've got different torso sections. And here you've got the main section of the torso, and then you've got this green section here for the armor. So it's multi-layered, and then as you press it all together, you don't need glue. You get them to pose whichever way you like. So I'll just spin it around quickly here. You might just see this particular sprue's got all the round bits on it. These are actually all the ball joints that help it pose. And it's great how they've built those into it. You can still notice them on the joints, but it does look very natural. So you've got that bit there. Over there. So you've got a section of bright bits here. So there's the shoulder pads. And then you've got the feet down the bottom, and the gun as well, just in that corner. And then there's the final bit. So it comes with a base, so you can support it in any pose you like. And then you've got this part here, which is all the legs. So you see this is the upper thigh, and then the lower thighs, and these are the points which are going to be jointed, so you can put them in a running pose or an action fighting pose. Might just be able to see some of the green there, which has got the helmet and such, and then you've got some decals right here to finish it off. That's pretty much it. So it'll end up as a figure like so. It's around about 20 centimeters tall, and you probably get a better idea if we have a look at this manual. So just the back. That's what it's going to look like when it's fully finished. You can see how he's got different pose in here. He's got his straight top pose. And then, actually, let's open it a bit more. So you've got bits here. As per usual with Bandai, it's all step by step. You can see how all the bits come together to the end there, onto the base. So all in all, a very nice kit. One of my favourites, and a very nice build by Bandai, once again.
Very nice, yeah, absolutely. So, very good. So we have a question. So David is asking, he's never built a sci-fi kit, and he's asking if this would be a good start.
Definitely, yep. So I think with sci-fi kits, any of the Bandai kits are great to start with. They've been engineered very well over many years. So obviously the newer ones are going to look a little bit crisper when you put them together. But there's different grades of kit that Bandai make. So you can start off with really basic ones, which are the smaller ones. And I would consider this figure to be like a mid-range type, because there's quite a few different bits involved. And is it snapped together? Yes, it is snapped together. So you don't need any glue at all. Some of the more seasoned guys will glue it together, because as you repose it, it may start coming loose. So it's up to you, but quite easily just snap it together and pose it all you like.
Absolutely.
Yep. Good start.
Very good. Well, this was probably one of the last things for tonight.
Yep.
Let's see if there is any question coming up.
Yep. Ask us anything at all.
We've been working on a couple of crawler projects. There's a bit of a crawling development happening, so be few new rock crawling accessories popping into our store in the near future. So this is obviously a 1.9 white rim on some Exo 4x4 tires as well, and we'll be receiving very soon a new brand of crawling tires and wheels called Voodoo from USA. Probably one of the most known brands, manufacturer of crawler, very soft and grippy crawler tires. So keep an eye on this space. We'll have a few news very soon.
Yep.
Very good. So let's see if there is any questions. Otherwise, we'll close. So British rolling stock coming soon. We received a few pieces just last week from Bachmann Branchline and also from Hobbies. There was actually quite a lot of Hobbies rolling stock in last week, and we also have a new shipment of Bachmann Branchline due in the next probably couple of weeks, and there'll be a few more before Christmas. Looks like our manufacturer started to produce again, so should be a lot of stuff coming. So okay,
so Derek's asking, how big is the perfect grade Falcon? Now that's massive.
It's huge.
I don't know, what's that? It's got to be a couple of feet. So 60 centimeters, I'm guessing. But the unfortunate bit is I think it's out of production now. So if you do find one, grab it, because we can't get them anymore, and it's in a huge box. Yep, get them quick before they continually go up in price, I think. Mr. Kaiju is asking if anyone started thinking about Expo. I think we've all been thinking about Expo. We started thinking about Expo last year, and then it came up to this year, and we knew Expo wasn't going to happen. So we've all had projects started. I started a project, a bit ambitious, which is good because it gives me an extra year to do it. And then I started on other projects as well. So I think everyone's going to have multiple projects for
lineup.
Expo.
Absolutely.
And I've even convinced Nathan to do something as well, because he wasn't going to do anything this year, but I've pushed him into something for next year. So fingers crossed, it's going to happen for next year, I think.
Absolutely. So Connie's asking any gossip on when the shop will reopen. Very good question. Well, unfortunately, we don't have that luxury yet, so we don't know. We're waiting for news. So
yes, we might find out on Sunday, maybe.
Hopefully, yeah. As soon as we have to go ahead, we'll be back.
Yep.
So hopefully very soon. Hopefully it's a matter of weeks, days, and weeks. Not much longer than that.
Yep. Warwick reckons he's got 12 projects for next Expo.
12. I actually thought 28.
He's going to carry them all.
I think there is something new virtually every night. When we start producing all the new upgrades and modification to the kits that is designed, there'll be other
Yes.
10 projects.
Yep. Yep.
Very good. All right, everyone. If there's no more questions, we will see you again next Friday night.
Yes.
Make sure you're keeping an eye on our weekly social media. If you have any questions or comments, pop them in there. We'll address them in the live for next Friday night.
Yep.
And
For sure.
if you have suggestions on this kind of stuff,
Yep.
just get in contact. We're more than welcome to, get any suggestions or feedback. Here we go.
Yep.
And we'll have to decide on the names of these ladies actually for next week. We'll
That's
have an
right,
outcome
so-
for next week.
Yep.
I guess it's it's going to take longer than a few minutes. And we're going to finish up this episode with a video of Hearns Workshop again, and we'll
Yep.
shall see you next week. Thank you for watching.
All right. Thanks again. See you later.
Bye bye.